Incentivizes them to be good, happy workers.
Okay, let me stop it right there. I totally 100% agree with this point. Men are totally exploited by, again, women, the state, corporations. Men, okay, a certain percentage of men must be thrown away, so that the way our current economic world system is working, in order for the economy or society, as how can I put it, the way society and the economy currently function, the way the economy is currently formatted, there is a need for a percentage or a certain demographic of men to be made disposable. And this is where the catharsis comes in. This is the strongest evidence. If you can just get a young man to understand this, this is the most compelling evidence you can give. This is the biggest lesson you can teach a young man to learn. And that is that they don't care about you. Once you learn that women will essentially lie to you and they try to manipulate you, pretending that they care, and like a lever, they can push and pull their affection on and off. And the second you stop doing what they want you to do, they'll cut off the affection. What you have to learn is that it's a manipulation tactic. They never cared about you. And it's the same thing with the government. The government will tell you that they care, but really they don't care. At the end of the day, they don't care. And if anything ever happens to you, if for any reason you stop being productive, or you just can't do what they want, they'll toss you out like yesterday's trash. And that is the catharsis. That is the total change. The total. That is the complete mental rebuilding. You basically learn that these people, these corporations, these institutions, they don't care about you. They never did. They never will. And it will be like this forever. It will be like this to the bitter end. But it's okay, because the second you realize that, everything changes. And then you effectively regain your power. I think if enough men do this, it will completely change society. And I think it's going to happen. And then you will see true freedom in this world. But I think it will be resisted as well. But again, it doesn't matter. I think it's going to happen. It's just a matter of time. So moving on.
That incentivizes them to go throw their lives away in a war for little to no pay, and then be thrown to the wolves when they get back, if they survive. You're just another brick in the wall, another cog in the machine, easily replaced, easily forgotten. And so that's why when you get back, society doesn't offer you anything. It might offer you a prescription, it might offer you a support group and a free donut, and that's about all it cares to. What I'm offering is to point you on the path towards self-actualization, an internal identity, and self-worth. I can't give you orders or tell you what your self-actualization will look like, because it's personal. But I will tell you, you won't find self-actualization in a therapy group. You won't find self-actualization in a welfare check or in a prescription.
All right, let me stop it right there. Okay, so now he brings up the concept of self-actualization. That comes from a guy called Maslow, and Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And at the top so it's a pyramid represented by, I think, 5 stages of development. And like the very bottom is like your physiological needs. Like you need food, you need water, you need to be able to breathe. You need a roof over your head. Anyway, at the very top is something called self-actualization. Self-actualization basically means, in other words, you have arrived at a point in your life where all of your other needs in life are met, and you basically go out and you start helping other people. And this brings you a high level of satisfaction in life. It brings you happiness, and it's like it's having a peak experience. So, and I completely agree with him. And again, I think, again, our whole society is formatted so that men never reach this. So it's almost like figuring out that we live in a state of slavery. And, the few men that free themselves, they almost have, like, in my opinion, they almost have like a moral obligation to go back and free the other slaves. And in this case, MGTOW, that's what MGTOW is. I think MGTOW are men who have freed their minds. And some of us, many of us, are interested in going back and helping to free other young men who are still in a sort of mental bondage.
You have to realize you are a man, you are a human being, you have worth. Your life has value, and not the value that society assigns it, not the value that other people acknowledge in it, but the value you give it. What would give your life meaning? If the answer is external validation, you want to go back to something because you want people to look at you a certain way, you want people to respect you. This is all external validation. You have no control over external validation. Honestly, to hell with external validation. The need for external validation is how you are controlled. And I understand.
Boom, right there. Okay, so I completely agree with him. But if you were to run into me 15 years ago, I would disagree with almost every point that he makes. But now I totally agree with him. When you can develop mentally to a point where you don't care you honestly don't care what other people think about you, you have reached a higher level of mental development. But they never want you to reach that. They want you to be stuck in the ego, and you have to be able to break. You have to be able to move past that. I completely agree. That's deep level psychology right there.
Understand that humans are a social species. We value the opinions of others. We value group dynamics. We want people to approve of us. We want people to like us. But at what cost? Are you willing to live a lie for people to like you? So step one, you need to figure out who you are. Now this can be teased out pretty easily. Just think of everything and then remove everything that isn't you. Think of everything that makes you and simply subtract the things which aren't you, the external factors. You are not your job. You are not your car. You are not the brand of clothes you wear. You are not how many times you showered this week. You're not the cologne you wear. You're not the length of your beard. You're not how many intact limbs you have. You're not your marital status. You're not your checking account balance. You're not your investment account balance. Take everything external, everything that isn't you, and cast it aside and really think about who you are. And if you don't have an answer, then that's fine. Start thinking about the question.
Okay, I'll add something right there. Yeah, so again, I can only sing his praises so much. Like he's totally right. Now, I think a lot of men will figure this out with time. But the nice thing is, if men can start hearing a counter narrative, the sooner the better. They can start thinking about these things. So, tell the young men in your life to start thinking about these things. Plant the seed in their mind. And then, instead of turning 45 years old and starting the process because you got divorced and you're being bent over, by the divorce court, try to teach young men this in their 20s. This way they avoid all this hassle and all this suffering. And that's largely what my goal is to help men avoid suffering.
This is going to be a long journey. It's going to have twists and turns, and you're going to find things about yourself maybe you don't like. But this is something that all men have to do. And the saddest part is society doesn't encourage men to do this at any point in their life. They want them to be happy tools. So if you don't figure out who you are, if you don't figure out your own worth, society is simply going to tell you you're worthless and you're going to believe it, and eventually it's going to end very badly. But I'm here to tell you, it's not hopeless. The light at the end of the tunnel is you discovering your own internal value, your own internal identity. And you stop giving a single fucking shit about what society tells you you're worth, tells you are, or tells you what you should do.
Okay, I'm going to end it right there. There's actually one more minute, but his message is basically conveyed pretty well. Yeah, I mean, just to sum up in like 20 or 30 seconds, I agree with everything he said. When I was much, much younger, when I was in my 20s, especially early 20s, I still thought, I got to do everything for women. It's all about women. And then slowly but surely, I got to the point where I started thinking, no, wait a minute. Little by little, hey, this is BS. Hey, this is BS. Now, I see it, all of it, as total BS. Men are totally brainwashed. They totally use us. They need us more than we need them. But they start us out, out the gate. They start us thinking the exact opposite. So it's like one big mind trick. It's one big, psyop. That's really what it is. These women are playing a trick on you because they're weak. And this is all they have are these lies and manipulations. When you see through it, there's a whole different side. As they say, you got to go through hell to get to heaven or whatever. So anyway, I'll leave it at that. I'm going really long, but yeah, this guy TFM. If you guys have never heard of him, totally check him out. He's great. And this was one of the guys that really helped get me on to the MGTOW track, the MGTOW lifestyle. So if you ever come across this TFM, thank you very much. You have actually helped save, I don't want to say save my life, but you have motivated me. You've changed my life for the better, guaranteed. So with that, I'll leave it right there. Everyone, this is the MGTOW Cowboy. If you like my videos, please like, please comment, please subscribe, and please share. And I'll leave it right there. All right, gentlemen, take care.